You most likely are already disciplined. You most likely already have discipline in certain things. And maybe it's something that you just haven't noticed yet, or you haven't realized. Maybe it's something that you don't see yourself as. Meaning you don't see yourself as this disciplined person because you haven't put discipline in things that you've wanted to. You haven't put discipline in the things that you think will help you grow into a better person, that will help you do the things that you've wanted to do. Something that I actually just recently saw was this video, and it was talking about how, let's say you have $84,600 at every single day. It's in your bank account every single day. And by the end of the day, it goes away no matter what, if you spend it or not. Every single day you wake up with $84,600 in your bank account. And the same scenario plays out. You either spend it or you don't. Either way, it's going to go away. Well, what you also have is 84,600 seconds every single day. So you have to spend that time just as wisely as you think you would spend the money that you have in your bank account every single day. And that's the same thing with discipline. Discipline is pretty much doing what has to be done even when you feel like you don't want to do it. And you most likely have discipline in things like brushing your teeth, right? You may not feel like brushing your teeth, but it's something that you do anyways. And that right there in itself is discipline, because you are giving yourself a task. You're giving yourself a task to do, whether or not you feel like doing it or not. The only way you would never have discipline is if you are somebody that does absolutely nothing. And I mean nothing with their life. And I'm not going to say there's not people like that, but you are most likely not that person. I want you to think about it like this. How would you look if you had discipline in the things that you wish you had them in? Meaning, how would you look if you were disciplined enough to do the things that you've always wanted to do? If you don't have discipline in those things now, how would it look like for you? If on that other side where you do have that discipline, are you a better person? Are you doing the things that you wanted to do? Are you doing them the right way? Are you doing them with confidence, with consistency? Are you doing them with effort? Because if that's the case, then it's probably something that you need to start thinking about. It's something that you need to start picking up as a habit. And discipline is a lot more simple than you think. You don't have to think about discipline as this difficult thing to inherit or this difficult thing to build up, because it's really not. Just like how you have discipline in brushing your teeth every day, you can have discipline in other things that you want to do. If it's things that you are passionate about, if it's habits that you have, hobbies, right? The discipline that you have within those hobbies and those passions that you have require a certain amount of work to put in. And that work is consistent because you have discipline. It's because you're disciplined enough to continue to do those hobbies, those passions with consistency. And that's the same thing. You just have to apply the same principles into other subjects, into other topics, into other areas in your life where you really want them in. Unless you don't, then okay. But if you think that you're going to be this other person that's only for the better, then it's better for you to start implementing these systems and these habits of discipline, these patterns of consistency and hard work into these areas where you want them in. Because you're just going to become a more elevated person, a stronger person at the end of the day. And all it takes is that first step. All it takes is those first few steps and patterns, right? Doing them on a consistent basis. So those tiny wins that you have every single day. If it's just like, if you want to read a book every single day, if you want to read a page of a book every single day, you just got to set yourself up for that. And you got to set up your environment for that as well. So if you wanted to read a page every day out of a book, all you have to do is just put yourself in the environment of being able to read a page out of a book every day. When you see your bed, you put the book on your bed. And then every time before you go to bed, you see that the book is on the bed, which is going to make you want to read that page. It's going to just put that in front of you, making it that more simple for you to pick up the book and start reading. And it's the same thing with anything else. But the thing is, you have to, instead of thinking about the feeling, or instead of thinking about it where you want to do it or not, instead think about it how you would be a person. How could you be that person where they read every single day? You got to envision yourself, and you have to think about yourself as a person that does the action, and not think about the feeling of the action, because it's almost the same thing with working out. It's the actions that dictate your feelings, not the feelings that dictate your actions. So if you work out, and at the end of the workout, you're gonna feel something. When you work out, you're gonna feel good after the workout. It's not you feel good if you work out. You might feel good as you go into the workout, but most likely you're going to end up feeling good after you work out. And so that's what I mean by setting up these tasks and putting yourself in the environment. You have to add up those small wins. Everything you do, even if it's as simple as reading a line out of a page of a book, it doesn't have to be even the whole page, but doing that every single day and keeping that consistent and putting the effort in to want to read is enough to create some type of discipline for yourself. And if you do that on a consistent basis, where you're doing that more than twice, it's going to become a habit, and it's going to become a pattern, and it's going to be something that becomes ingrained into your brain, making it that much simpler for you to keep doing that action. So you don't have to be too hard on yourself when it comes to discipline. It's not something that you should really think about too much. But as long as you keep up those daily tasks, as long as you keep up those small wins, the more small wins you stack up, the more you're going to want to continue to do the action, the more it's going to become a habit for you, and the more it just becomes discipline for you. And as long as you apply those same principles to anything else in your life that you know is going to benefit you for the better, it's going to make you a better person overall. It's going to make you elevate, and it's going to put you in the trajectory to just win. And it doesn't have to be compared to anyone else's wins. You're an individual. You have your own individual thoughts, your own individual goals, and your own individual things that you want to achieve, right? Which means you shouldn't be comparing yourself to anyone else. Meaning, those small goals are going to add up eventually, and it's just going to make your life that much more better. You don't have to be this person that is doing a million things, and you feel like because you're doing these things, you're doing so many things that you're a disciplined person, which means you're doing the right thing. That's not how it has to be. Just giving yourself these tasks is going to make you that much more of a disciplined person. As long as you keep up with them, as long as you're somebody that can show up daily, as long as you're someone that can continue every single day and making it a pattern for yourself is what's going to help you become that better person. You can't do it for one day and then stop the next day and then stop the next day after that, because then that's going to become its own pattern and its own habit. And then it's not going to be what you thought it was. Instead, you have to try to do it every single day. Not saying that if you miss one day that you're a terrible person. Missing one day is not the end of everything. But if you're missing more than a day, if you're missing a couple days at a time, if you're missing 3 days, it's just gonna go on and become this repetitive cycle for yourself. Because you know yourself, you know how you work, you know how you operate, and you know what it's like for you to follow certain patterns, certain trends for yourself. So just put yourself in the right environment, set yourself up the right way, create a space where you know you're going to be able to thrive. If you want to create discipline for yourself, if you want to put yourself and think of yourself as a disciplined person in anything that you do, right? You have to actually think about yourself. And it's something that you build over time. Okay, it's not going to be the easiest thing. No one said it was. Discipline is not something that comes easy to anyone. It's something that you build over time. Just like anything in your life, it's all going to be muscle memory at the end of it. So keep consistent with the grind. Keep it pushing. And that's why discipline will always win. Everything I just said is simple, not easy. Love y'all, man. Peace, y'all.